How do you keep your relationship as good as day one? Never stop dating your partner. You don't need to fake things. But don't take things for granted. Make time to go have fun. Impress each other. Work to make them proud and want to be with you. Try each other's hobbies genuinely, but still let them have their own thing if you're not interested or they need their time. And most importantly, realize that they're going to change and grow. Or perhaps even regress, as all people do at times. You can shape, help, and direct that, but you can't control it. Ride the waves, communicate honestly, and you'll be solid. A strong relationship becomes so much better than day one. I have been married for 15 years and love my spouse so much more than I did in the beginning. Our go-to, and it is not easy and took some time to learn to do, is to hug one another when we are fighting. It is our way of acknowledging that even though we are angry, the love is stronger. I also say, I love you, but right now I really don't like you. Sometimes after the hug we don't talk yet, because we may need more space time. But it puts our anger into perspective. It will never be exactly the same, and that's completely fine. But it helps to never ever forget about the little things. They're almost as important as the big ones, if not more. Knowing that my BF remembers something really specific and does it for me. Or says like, oh yeah, I remember when you did this and that. Just don't forget to make them feel seen. Act as though your partner doesn't know how you feel about them. I think you start by re-evaluating why this would be a goal. Relationships evolve and change with time and experiences. They can get worse at times and better at times. If you're working on it together and are open and things are where you both want them to be, why would it matter if they're the same level of good as day one? I've been with my partner for over 20 years and things are way better now than day one. You know how at first you pretend to be better than you actually are, and your partner is doing the same. Once you start being so comfortable around, you forget to pretend to be the better you. Give your partner the courtesy to pretend to still see their better self. They'll return the favor. That's the price you pay for being able to be yourself around them. That price is paid with love. If by better you mean that rush of dopamine and adrenaline you get every time you look at a new partner, the answer is you don't. If by better you mean more loving, stable, caring, and understanding, then day one should be a low point in your relationship. Communicate, grow together as individuals and as a couple, address issues quickly and maturely. If you try to keep a relationship the same as the first day forever, it won't be good. Relationships are like a living thing. You have to give them space to grow into what they'll ultimately become. You can monitor and prune and feed your relationship to try and shape what it will be. But if you try to keep it completely static, it won't last. Growing together and everybody growing on his own. We are together for 40 years now, and it is getting better every year. Code sentences help us a lot not to argue if not necessary. When my wife has doubt in something I'm doing, although she knows I can do it very well, I just say, trust me, baby, with a grin, and she relaxes. I suppose I could reset the clock by punching her in the face or insulting her mother. In general, I make a terrible first impression, and it takes me a long time to work my way out of it. You don't expect it to be like the honeymoon phase. You communicate everything and don't go to bed angry. And lastly, you don't stop giving effort no matter how long you've been together. Day one is a fairly low threshold. Day one you don't know if there will be a day two, and probably wouldn't be particularly upset if there wasn't. Just maybe a bit disappointed. Be like Cody Reiner and Hannah Wallace. Clearly. The ability to make each other laugh often. Life is tough, but giggles and smiles promote trust, comfort, and the extra endorphins to make it through anything. I would consider my marriage a complete failure if it was only as good as the relationship was on literally the first day I met my wife. LOL. You don't and can't. Married 25 years, together 27 years, there is no way I nor my husband can keep things as good as the first day. It will never be as good as the honeymoon phase. Open communication with your partner is the best recipe for a great relationship. You don't, they evolve into something different. If you chase the honeymoon phase forever, you'll never find contentment. You don't, with work. commitment, communication, and mutual respect. It will become so much more. Remember the whole for better or for worse part in the vows. Well, you see, you do that. We pick a night to order pizza and watch TV like we did on the first date. 420 friendly. Nothing will be as day one. The key is to stay in the wagon of this crazy roller coaster. Good relationships get better. I wouldn't want my relationship to go back to day one. Constant communication, mutual respect, and never taking each other for granted. You don't. You just have to make sure it ages like wine and not milk. Keep dating. Embrace conflict. It's the fertilizer for growth.